Welcome my dear students. In this video lecture we are going to learn the poetic devices from the poem number 3, that is Inchcape Rock. So let's talk about the first figure of speech, that is repetition. And as you know very well, where same words are repeated, that is called repetition. Let's look at the example number 1. No stir in the air, no stir in the sea. It means here no stir, these two words are repeated. So this is the example of repetition. Let's look at the second example. So little they rose, so little they fell. So in this example also, little, the same words are repeated twice. And now let's look at the example number 3. It made him whistle, it made him sing. So here also words are repeated. So this is called repetition. Now let's talk about the poetic device number 2, that is an alliteration. And you know very well what is alliteration, where some letters or sounds are repeated. As in example number 1, no stir in the air, no stir in the sea. Means here the sound of letters N and S is repeated, as you can see in the example. Now let's talk about the example number 2. Her sails from heaven receive no motion. Means here the sound of letter H is repeated like in her and heaven. So this is the example of alliteration. Now let's look at the example number 3. And over the waves it's a warning rung. Means the sound of letter W is repeated. So this is the example of alliteration. Now my dear students, let's talk about the poetic device number 4, that is a personification. And what is personification? Where non-living thing is treated as living. How? Let's look at the example. The ship was as still as she could be. Means here the sheep is personified because she, this word is used here and it is used to a human being, but we know sheep is not human. So this is the example of personification. Second one, her keel was steady in the ocean. Now here also the sheep is personified using the word her. Now let's talk about the poetic device number 5, that is antithesis. And my dear students, already I have explained to you that the meaning of antithesis is in itself. How anti means opposite and thesis means ideas. So two opposite ideas or words are used, that is called antithesis. Let's look at the example number 1. So little they rose, so little they fell. Means here two opposite words are used, rose and fell. So this is the example of antithesis. Figure of speech number 6, that is onomatopoeia. And what is the figure of speech? The words used to convey how something sounds, that is called onomatopoeia. Let's look at the example. The bubbles rose and burst around. Means there is a gurgling sound, the sound of object sinking and bubbles rising and bursting. That's why this is the example of onomatopoeia, means where the sound is resemble. Poetic device number 7 is imagery. And what is imagery? Where words appeals to human senses, as already we know. Let's look at the example number 1. The sun in heaven was shining gay. Means here the poet has used visual imagery. Means the word appeal us to visualize, and we can visualize the cheerful morning with this sentence, the sun. Second one, the seabirds scream as they wheel round, and there was joys in their sound. Here also the poet has used imagery. Means sound imagery is used here as the screaming of birds and the whirl round. There was a joy. So we can imagine the sound here also. Let's talk about the figure of speech number 8, that is an apostrophe. What is apostrophe? Where the speaker addressing to a absent. Let's look at the example. Oh Christ, It is the Inchcape Rock. It means here the speaker is addressing someone who is not there. It means the Christ was not there. So this is called an apostrophe. Let's talk about the figure of speech number 9, that is transferred epithet. Let me tell you, in the previous video also I have cleared to you that transferred means from move from one place to another, and epithet means an adjective. It means it clearly indicates that where the adjective is transferred, that is called transferred of epithet. How? Let's look at the example. Till the vessel strikes with the shivering shock. Shivering shock. Here adjective shivering is transferred from human to shock. It means the quality of shivering is the quality of human being, so it should be used to human, but instead it is used to shock. So this is the example of transferred epithet. Let's talk about the poetic device number 10, that is inversion. And as you know already, where the incorrect prose order is used for poetic impact, that is called an inversion, and our duty is to correct it. How? Let's look at the example. And to the Inchcape Rock they go. So the correct order should be and they go to the Inchcape Rock. This is how we can solve the example of inversion. Now my dear students, let's talk about the figure of speech number 11, that is a climax. And what is a climax? Where words are arranged in ascending order, means from bottom to top. Example, the boat is lowered, the boatman row, means the words are arranged in ascending order. So this is the example of climax. Now poetic device number 12, that is anticlimax, and it is exactly opposite of climax. So what is anticlimax? Where the words are arranged in descending order. It means from top to the bottom. See the example. So little they rose, so little they fell. Here the words are arranged in descending order. That is why it is the example of anticlimax. Figure of speech number 13 is simile. And you know very well, in last year also we learned it already. What is simile? Where the direct comparison is between two, using words like and as. See in the example, a sound as if with the Inchcape bell, means here the sound of sinking ship is directly compared with the sound of sinking the Inchcape bell, means direct comparison between two objects. That's why this is the example of simile. So my dear students, in this way, in this video lecture, we learn the poetic devices from the poem Inchcape Rock. Now your duty begins. You have to find out some other examples related to all these figure of speeches. I would like to give you a homework for on this topic. Please find out other examples of poetic devices and present on our WhatsApp group. Thank you.